work? Or, I mean, because I would assume, you know, if you're dealing, I mean, I don't know necessarily, I mean, I guess it depends on what type of, you know, what area of the hospital. If you're dealing with older people that are sick, for example, I would assume that, and I've heard this before, that some of their past loved ones will come be with them as they pass. You know what I mean?
Yes. Right, because, I work with dementia and Alzheimer patients,
So would that be like a hot spot?
I know when somebody's going to die,
Like, how soon do you know?
Because the other day, toward the end of my clinicals, we were in this man's room that had like a pacemaker or something. He couldn't speak. All he could do was, And then every time you try to take his blood or do anything, he's flinging his arms around. Well, the day that we went in there to take his blood, I mean, he was real calm, but I had this weird feeling in my chest and in my stomach. It was both at the same time, and I couldn't figure out why, and it was only in that room. Well, we left the room. 45 minutes later, he codes. His heart stops.
I get, like, it's like a black feeling I get.
Yes.
And I go, oh, this
it's
person's going to die. Yeah, I call it a black feeling.
But it was almost like in the pit of my stomach, but yet my chest felt like it feels when I feel something, like a figure in the room or something.
Right.
I feel like I'm not alone. That's the feeling I get in my chest. But at the same time, I had that plus the stomach feeling.
Because I had, a couple months ago, I had a hospice patient, and I'm in her room, and all of a sudden I saw her brother there. Now, her brother she told me the story, he had fallen through the ice when he was 19 years old. Now, there he was by his bed, and he says, I'm waiting for you. I've come to get you.
Oh.
And then the next day I saw her husband there, and I think she saw her husband too because she was talking to him. She's kind of delirious, but she was talking to him, and I know that he was there.
And that's the thing. People think that they're just crazy and, it's just the dementia and all that. No, it is not.
No, I told her daughter, because her daughter believes in all this. I says, her brother's here. She was talking to her husband. I go, it's time. Just be ready. It's time.
Now, with these people that are, put into mental hospitals because they're assumed to be crazy. I mean, what percentage of these people would you say that are in these mental hospitals are actually not crazy, and they're just telling you what they're seeing and it's legit?
I don't know. That's scary. I mean, that's really. Yeah. I mean, that happened a long time ago. How many people did they put away because
they were open about it?
Yeah, I'm hearing voices.
Or they didn't know how to handle it. I mean,
right.
That's terrifying to even think of. I mean,
right, because they didn't know what this stuff was. You didn't even speak of things like this before.
Oh, most definitely not.
I mean, we've definitely progressed to where it's now an open discussion, and it's not even really considered taboo, I would think. I mean,
you could go up to anybody on the street and talk about it now.
Yeah.
Most times you wouldn't talk about it because you're a witch or something.
Exactly.
So I would assume like a lot of all of this has all been happening for a very, very long time. It's just got to a point where we can openly communicate about it and it not be a wild taboo thing,
Thank goodness for the internet.
Right. So
it's a good thing.
Let me ask you this, Cheryl, because I've heard this debate, I guess you would call it, come up a lot. It's one of those things where a lot of haters, I guess, would say. You do a lot of ITC work, right? But a lot of people always bring up, well, if you're a medium, why would you need to use ITC to communicate with the dead? Why can't you just talk to them? What would you say to those people when that's brought up to you like that?
Of course, I don't need anything. I don't need my recorder. I don't need my K2. I don't need anything, but it's just another tool that I like to use. And just because I can hear something doesn't mean that other people can hear it. So that's why I like to have the recorder so that I can go, yeah, see, they were talking and this is what they said, just like with the app. Yeah. Yes, they're talking. I don't need that to hear them, but to share their story with other people, You have to use different devices.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of my thought on the whole thing when I was thinking about it, trying to think through it. I mean, it's just another way you can document it. You know what I mean? I guess if you wanted to document all of your thoughts, you couldn't do it, or the whole conversation, or what. I mean, it would just be a lot.
I could write it all down, but what is that proof to a disbeliever? Yeah, sure, the Spirit said that to you. Well, if I got a recording, and now you can see that I wasn't making it up, you know.
Yeah,
that's true.
Do you see them when you're using devices like apps or Ghostbox or whatever? Do you see them actually like coming up to that device to speak, or do you see them at a distance and they can still communicate through it? Like, do you see any of that? That's always been an interest to me.
Well, like last night when Nick was doing his session, there was a woman that kept coming through saying help, and I got her name. Her name was Sophie. And I saw that she was abused by her boyfriend, very verbally abused, because you could hear her last night. She kept saying, I'm sorry. She kept apologizing for everything. Yeah, and so I was telling her, I said, so this is her story, so next time when you talk to her, now you know a little bit more about her. Now, that wasn't coming through the app last night, but I was picking it up from her.
Yeah. Probably the thing that fascinates me the most about mediums when I hear any stories about them is when they work with police departments. Have you, to solve crimes and things like that? That's always been a huge interest to me, especially like closed cases. You know what I mean? Or cases that were never closed from way back. I mean, have you ever had any experience where you're working with law enforcement or the government of any type to solve a crime?
Yeah, I'm part of a group called Project Psi, and there's 8 of us mediums, and we work on missing persons cases.
Really?
That's so awesome.
Yeah, we do.
And
it's great when you can bring somebody home and they're alive.
Yes.
You know.
Wow.
It's one thing to find them, but when
really
you can
dead, like they thought they were.
Yeah.
But even somebody that has been murdered,
children,
maybe they could rest.
Right.
I mean, if let's say you're in the briefing room, correct, with the police department, and they're debating and saying, well, I don't know if we believe this person to be dead, this would probably be the scenario, and if they're alive, this would probably be the scenario. Can you determine in that situation, just by using your methods, determine whether this person's alive or dead, and kind of point them in the correct location or direction of way to go?
Well, I mean, I can look at a person's photo. That's how we usually do it. I look at a person's photo and I can read the photo. Mm-hmm. And like one time I was actually just sitting there on Facebook and something popped up on one of my friends' pages about somebody's brother is missing, and he was just very sad. They were afraid he might do something to himself, and I don't know why she gave it to me, you know. And he was like in Missouri or something. He wasn't anywhere near me. And I says, all right. So I went and I remote viewed, and I saw him. He was sitting under a bridge down by the water, and I figured it was a place that he liked to go to be alone all the time. And I saw these old buildings down there, and they kept saying they were trying to call him, but his phone was off, and I saw his phone was sitting there on the ground. Mm-hmm. So I put myself over there. I'm sitting down next to him, and I said, your sister is worried about you. Everything's going to be okay. You need to pick the phone up and call her. If I could pick it up in my hand and hand it to you, I would, but I can't do that. You need to pick that phone up, turn it on, and call your sister. And a minute later, she says he called her. And they found him and brought him home.
Wow. That's got to be like one of the most rewarding things in the world.
It is. I go, there you go.
That's so wild to me. I mean, this has just blown my mind, Cheryl. Now, you also have wrote a few books as well. Do you have are these books that just kind of highlight all these wild and insane experiences that you've had, or what's the direction with those?
Well, the first book that I wrote, Whispers Beyond the Grave, I talk about my first sighting of a spirit when I was 4 years old, and then I talk about some of these stories I was telling you. And the second book I wrote, it's just like creepy stories, like Edgar Allan Poe stories.
Oh yeah,
the little short stories. That's all that one is. But I am writing the third book about more spirits. I'm halfway through that one right now.
Okay,
That's cool.
I think I'm going to call it When the Dead Come Alive. I'm not sure if I want that title, but maybe.
Well, I would absolutely love to get a copy of this. Where can people, anybody that's listening, go to find your book and purchase one from you?
They're on Amazon.com, or you can message me. I have a whole bunch in my house too. I could autograph it and mail it to somebody.
Perfect. Well, that's the way that I want to do it. So after this, I'll get your PayPal stuff, and we can make that happen.
Okay.
Because I definitely want you to sign me a book.
Okay.
Got to add it to my collection. But I mean, this has just been an awesome experience, and I feel like we could go on for much longer talking about this kind of stuff.
Yep, I had fun too.
Aaron, do you have?
I thought it was really good. I mean, I could keep going too, to be honest with you. I like listening to her.
I mean, it's just amazing. Now, here's something I haven't told you, Aaron, but Cheryl's actually going to be coming down near us and heading to Old South Pittsburgh Hospital next year. Is that right, Cheryl?
Yep, yes I am.
So she's going to be there, I believe, like 2 days.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, when is it? It's going to be, what's the date? February 23rd.
February 23rd, and it's a public event that you're going to be a part of, correct?
Yeah. It's a small group. I hope it's not going to be too big. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I definitely want to try and get down there while you're there.
Wayward Souls is sponsoring it.
Okay, but I would love to meet you when you're up in Detroit area, right?
Yep.
Yep. So,
Okay.
especially if you're coming that close. I mean, that's real close to my place.
I know. We could hang out. Yeah.
Right. But there, our team is actually coming up next year to Whispers Estates, and I know that you've been there before.
Yeah, I just came from there. Yeah.
Yeah. How was your experience there?
Well, I can't talk a whole lot about it because I had to sign a confidentiality agreement because we're filming for a TV show, but it was really cool.
Gotcha. Well, then don't get yourself in trouble. I'm
No,
just going to
no,
call
I'm just
you.
telling you it was cool there.
I'm just going to call you when we go up there, and you can join us.
Oh, I'd love to go back there, yeah.
Perfect. Then it's a done
Yeah.
deal. We will totally
Yeah.
make that happen.
It was a great place, yeah.
Good. Well,
So February 23rd. Okay.
yep. And I have those details for that, Aaron. So we will definitely come up, and if nothing else, we'll go get some dinner and hang out and chit chat. So
That sounds good.
I really appreciate you taking the time to come on. It's been an awesome conversation, but we need to get you back on because this could go for much more, and I have so much more questions for you. So
I could talk all night. I never shut up. When I start talking about this stuff, I don't stop.
Well, that's fine with me. But anyway, thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate you both so much, and I will talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Wow. What an amazing story that we got right there from Cheryl and from Aaron, both of them. One of them being on the scope of being like a pro at this. I mean, just having all these abilities. I mean, it's amazing. And then having Aaron, who's kind of going through this, and growing as she goes through it. And learning more and more and more. It's just amazing to even hear these two sides that have different experiences, but also they connect, right? It's just amazing to me. I absolutely loved this conversation, and we will definitely have Cheryl back on. Cheryl, thank you so much. If you guys want to get in contact with her to purchase one of her books, you can find her on Facebook. Just search Cheryl Lynn Carter. She's also on my personal Facebook page, so if you want to look me up, or my group, Paranormal Response Team, she's on there as well. And I'll put all of her links to her Amazon page and her Facebook and all that good stuff in the description of this episode, so everyone can and click on everything and buy her books and all that good